Hey, Coach. Super excited you found us on YouTube in my messy basement. But let me tell you a couple things. First of all, go over and check out ttroops.com for coaches who want to get better. That's the first thing. Second thing is make sure you subscribe. Go hit that little bell so every time you come on YouTube, you'll be able to find all of our stuff and subscribe. That is really important.
All right, welcome to High School Hoops. All right, today, before we jump in, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the number one shooting machine on the market. We own three of them. Mention the High School Hoops, mention Coach Unplugged, mention Coach Collins, and you'll get $400 off, and they will take really good care of you. From all the people that bought in the last 6 months, trust me, they will take good care of you. Just mention me and they'll walk you through the process. Zero fine. They can do financing. They can do all sorts of different things for you. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's resources. It's worked. I've helped thousands of basketball coaches become better basketball coaches. It is literally the mission that I have. Because I was just talking to Coach about getting near the end of my career. This is going to be the way that I can help coaches moving forward. So go over and check out teachhoops.com. All right. Today's topic. I think today's topic. I think I know it. Go ahead, Coach. What is today's topic?
Today's topic is always one of my favorite stuff to talk about is selecting an offense. And you kind of said it, you have this power of three thought process. And I'm excited to hear that and build off of that and go from there. And then we're going to be talking about offense again the next week about basically this is a 2-week thing. I kind of want to tell the listeners that we're going to pick an offense and then we're going to also develop drill progressions around those offenses. So how to basically map out your offense for the season in the next 2 weeks. It's a great way to really get ready for the season. And I think it's going to give you a lot of substance that can really help you out come fall time.
No, I agree. So a couple things. First of all, like we talked about last week, hopefully you've evaluated your team over the time to figure out the offense and the things that you need to do to be successful. Yes. So I just said a couple of minutes ago about getting near the end of the career. I'm sharing some of my secret sauces. And offense is one of those weird things. You know, you have the Princeton offense, you have flex, you have motion, you have dribble drive, you have all these different offenses, and all of them are effective and do different things really well. And I think can help you win basketball games. Some are more complicated, like the Princeton, than others, but they all have superpowers and things that work really well. I came up with the power of three because, first of all, the brain, you can really only remember three things consistently. And coming out of COVID, coming out of all these things, we were running this since 2016, 2015, is if you've run the read and react, you've run some of these offenses like the Princeton, there's like 87 different layers or steps to it, and it's just too complicated. And that's where the power of three came from. I basically got the offense down to three rules, and it could fit on a 3x5 card. I'm going to put eventually, if you want to see more on power of three, I'll put a link down below. But anyway, I'm just going to give you the gist of it. But basically, you can run it 5 out, 4 out, whatever it is. But some basic rules is everyone moves on a pass. Rule number one. Every overplay is a back door. And a dribble to the ring, dribble drive to the wing, you get a flash to the basket. You read your defender and you find the mesh point. You find the open space. You do those three things. Now, notice we're not talking about ball screening. We're not talking about screening. There are different, like when a passer, after your passer makes it, they can cut, they can pick, or they can read. Those are the three things that a passer can do, right? I pass. What can I do? I can cut to the open area, I can screen away, or I can read and slip. So, you know, it all of it comes down, and I'm just giving you literally the Spark Note / Cliff Note version, depending on how old you are, of it. But that's kind of the gist of it. It's movement, it's space. The key to good offense is finding open space. And what do defenses want to do? They want to take space away from you. and good offenses want to find open space. So, we talk about slicing and, backdoors, a slice is a backdoor. So we've got some terminology that we use, but even if you're dealing with a freshman team, you can teach them, okay, you're going to pass. Okay, I pass the wing. What can I do? I can cut. They're all going to want to cut. That's the fallback. I'm going to tell people that eventually we'll try to run this. Everyone wants to cut to the basket, and it becomes that's all they want to do. They don't want to screen away. They don't want to read and slip or pop high for a three. They want to cut. So you have to work on the screening. You have to work on the pop or the slip high, and yeah. So you have to work on those things. So uh, yeah, that's the evaluation tool I think you have to take as a coach um, to get really good at it to figure out what offense will work for yours because I think the defense is an easier slide in than the offense is.
Well, yeah,
Um,
because defense is really about allowing the offense to read off of you. So
right,
you kind of you are the person that lays the cards down defensively when you're in a possession, right? And then the offense reacts from it. So, the thinking piece of I like the power of three, but I think really when you create your power of three, it comes back to the three things of good offense. Does your power of three help ball movement, player movement, and spacing, right?
right, and it does. That's
That's what I'm
it came
saying.
from.
And so right. And so the power of three is what are your actions? Basically, you're talking about three actions or movements or ideas that are really going to keep that offense going and creating ball movement, player movement, and spacing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's and then there's obviously nuances like you have the mesh points where you're coming and setting the screen. So what's going to happen? What can happen on a screen? There's so many things that can happen.
So when you say the word mesh point, what does that mean? Because I would assume that not everybody knows what the word mesh point means.
It's where the picker and the cutter come together.
Got
That's
it.
what I call.
Yep.
That's what I refer to as a mesh point. So
So
think about it. I'm going to set this.
Yep.
I'm going to set the screen. What can I do after the screen? Well, maybe I can slip. Maybe I can pop. Maybe so. It's the same thing with the guy coming off the screen. We teach them to stop at the screen and read it. Which are you going to curl? Are you going to pop? What are you going to do using that screen? So there's that mesh point where there's obviously nuances to any offense that you have to work
So
on.
I would say then going to finish this podcast today is I think a lot that we'll talk about next week is how to take some of those mesh points within your offense and create drills around them.
Right. And imparting to in a parting note to the listeners is think about and we talked about this last week. Think about your kryptonite and think about your superpowers. And you're smarter than me. You can figure out what can you use to accentuate your superpowers and hide your kryptonite. All of my teams, even the teams that have put rings on my finger, have had strengths and have had weaknesses. The good ones have hidden the weaknesses and accentuated the strengths. Going back to my 2017 team that Chris Knight was in and Billy and stuff, we beat Middleton 3 times that year. They had two high D1 majors. We had one Division One player and 4 really nice high school players. They had 2 high Division One players on a team. Storm ended up having an unbelievable career, Storm Murphy. And the reason we were able to beat them is our offense accentuated my big guys. I had 2 guys 6'7" and a 6, and we were able to hide the weaknesses. Sorry, Billy and Logan, but our guard weaknesses, we were able to hide those.
Right.
So I think when you're doing this, I think keeping it simple. That's why I did the power of 3. I think keeping it basic, keeping those things where you need is one of the keys to it. But next week we'll dive into kind of drills and progressions and kind of how you break all of that down. I think you can do that both offensively and defensively. But I think that would be great. All right, till next week, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, so glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like, and go over and check out ttroops.com for coaches who want to get better.